Dragon Ball Super is such a terrible job. It ruined some of my favorite characters as a franchise. One of many will agree is Tenshinhan or Tien, a contrast of the opposite extreme of Master Roshi's treatment in Dragon Ball Super. Before we discuss how this man got ruined, we need to dive in what made him interesting in the first place. Tien was introduced as a student of the Crane Helmet. He was trained to show no mercy to his opponents, hospitalizing Nam and even breaking Yamcha's leg despite him being knocked out. We also find out he looked up to Tao Pai Pai or Mercenary Tao, who is another mentor of his and the brother of his master. And when finding out that Goku killed Tao Pai Pai, Tien was willing to kill Goku in the finals to restore honor, while Tien wanted to become an assassin like Tao Pai Pai. In this case, it was a personal goal for him since he had deep respect for his masters and even Chaozu. When fighting Jackie Chun, who is the Turtle Hermit, Master Roshi in disguise, we see both of them being evenly matched. So far, Tien just endured punches like nothing and fired a few Dodonpa, but in this fight we see Tien's true abilities at display. His eyes allow him to see through techniques and keep up with the speed of his opponent. He can perform the Kamehameha fully mastered after seeing it once, and a large toolbox of techniques such as the Solar Flare or Taiyuken. Roche is surrendered not because he couldn't win, but acknowledged Tien's strength, being able to put a challenge to his students. When Tien finally fought Goku, despite getting the edge over Goku every time, he was still outclassed in power and skill. Master Shen, who was consumed with the desire to get revenge for his brother's supposed death, used Chaozu's power to sabotage the battle. When Tien found out about it, he couldn't believe his master didn't have faith in him finishing the job. Shen scrolled Tien, asking him if he didn't want to become an assassin like Tao, who would use any means to win. But Tien wanted to win with his own strength, which went against the teachings of Tao Pai Pai, the person he idolized. It wasn't until Roshi blasted Shen away Goku and Tien's fight could resume as normal. Tien was willing to take all the blows he delivered on Goku to get even. At this point, Tien's character completely shifted to the good side and wanted to win for his own sake. As a sign of respect, Tien wanted Goku to dodge his final attack, the Kikoho, also known as the Tri-Attack or Tri-Beam, an attack that drains his own life force for a move far stronger than the user itself. Tien intended Goku to jump out of the ring with his full intention to blow up the ring with his attack, while he himself would win the fight thanks to his ability to levitate. It's true that if he killed Goku he would be disqualified by the tournament rules, he would still prove himself as superior to Goku. Goku managed to survive the attack and hit Tien with a Kamehameha to headbutt him. Tien still won since he landed outside the ring after Goku. Both acknowledged each other ever since. During the King Piccolo saga, Tien was reformed in order to get the Dragon Ball to resurrect Krillin. He was getting on his knees begging for forgiveness on somebody whose leg has been broken by him. He was willing to confront King Piccolo after training for the Mafuba after both Roshi and Chaozu passed away. The anime executed these scenes the best, and actually having him have a chance to use his technique against the Demon King. There wasn't much for him to do that arc but train. The last significant moment from original Dragon Ball, besides having an amazing fight against Goku, was when he confronted Mecha Tao Pai Pai. And despite the dirty tactics and unhanded tricks Tao did during the match, Tien still showed respect to his mentors and wished not to humiliate them any further. Tien trained alongside Krillin, Yamcha, and Chaozu under Korin, the god of martial arts. And considering Goku defeated Tao effortlessly after his training, Tien also had the other three students to hone his skills beyond. Thus the character arc ended. Tien showcased the ability to make copies of himself and keep up with Goku somewhat. Tien also asked Roshi why he doesn't want to take part in the tournament. Roshi stated explicitly that there's nothing he can nothing he can teach them, and passed the baton to the new generation, announcing his retirement. As a Saiyan Saga, Tien trained under Kami, basically God, and managed to surpass Goku's achievement in a shorter time again, because he trained alongside others equally strong students of that were equally strong, like Tien, Krillin, and Chaozu. He defeated a Cyberman quickly, but lost to Nappa. During the Namek Saga, Tien was training under King Kai. Nothing more than filler is worth to talk about, where he managed to defeat both Butter and Cheese simultaneously. I assumed that he got some of Kaio's skills as well, such as the Kaioken, considering he knows about the technique in the manga. Apparently he can't use it, which is stupid. In the Cell Saga, Tien was one-shotted by Android 17. Later, Tien showed one of the best scenes that made Tien memorable to many fans, when he pulled back an opponent several times stronger than himself for several minutes with his improved Kikoho called Shinkikoho or Neo Tri-Beam. In the Buu Saga, he used the Kikoho to save Gohan from Gotenks absorbed Buu. Sadly, he was knocked out and never mentioned again. Now, Tien's treatment seems to be a mixed bag, but overall, he was one of the most interesting characters. Even against opponents that outclassed him, he arrived and showed impressive feats. His guts is what made people admire him. But this is as far as it goes. Dragon Ball Super made him a literal joke. Battle of Gods didn't do anything meaningful, and there wasn't anything worth expecting when fighting an opponent like Bills. Shit starts in the Resurrection F arc, where Frieza comes back with an army of fodder characters which lose to freaking Master Roshi. Tien using the Kikoho against nobodies like that is already a sin. An attack that drains his own life force to make it stronger than what he can actually do. I would expect someone like Tien not even breaking a sweat after training on the Master Roshi and honing his skills for decades. It's not like Super doesn't know Tien has other techniques. They let him use the Kikoho against nobodies. In the Tournament of Power, the worst arc of Dragon Ball ever, pretty much shows that the writers don't care about Tien. They let him lose against Master Roshi, who retired since the Piccolo Jr. arc. To know how dumb it is, remember that Tien was even to Roshi when he was first introduced. Tien was not only a prodigy, but a hard-working prodigy that surpassed Roshi. Tien rivaled Roshi before his training under Korin, and unlike Roshi, has yet to reach his prime. Tien trained under several gods like Kami and Kaio. There's no way Tien could lose to Roshi with just off-screen training or magic. Let me remind you that Gohan, also a prodigy, has less of a power boost by Guru and anger that Roshi did by a nobody. Even Goku, who was considered a prodigy, drank the holy water, the real one, and managed to only surpass King Piccolo, a guy Roshi couldn't even beat in his prime without risking his life using the Mafuba. Roshi basically defeated Tien with just 2 attacks. Later we see Tien team up with Goku against Gohan and Piccolo. As a guy with decades of battle experience didn't notice Piccolo charging a terrible technique that lets him open to an attack from the front on him and lined his attack for the Kikoho against Gohan, and Goku had to warn him. And what did Tien do? Fire Dodonpa again, which is stronger and faster than the Kamehameha? Nope. He charged another Kikoho to clash with Piccolo's attack. Like, what the fuck? Obviously it didn't work because Gohan knocked him up because, whoops, I let my guard down cliché. But this isn't all. Tien was shitting his pants when Goku and Gohan wanted to continue fighting by themselves. It's so sad how Super treats Tien. He wears a weird gi and puts his arm on the back all the time. I don't mind Tien acting polite, but Tien in Super or even the Battle of Gods isn't the Tien we saw in Dragon Ball. They treated him and Chaozu like literal jobbers, characters that should be at least above Nappa in power by now, and a fresher mind in combat than Roshi, who just watched aerobics all day. The actual tournament of power treated Tien even worse. Tien fired 3 tri-beams. The first one in a combination attack with against other fodder characters and managed to do not a single bit of damage. These opponents which turn out to be actual jobbers later on. The second one against a Cell lookalike who is stunned by Roshi. And the last one against Rocks, where he knocks out a Blanca lookalike. He used clones to knock out the last character and throw his own self also, instead keeping a copy of himself on the ring. That's how little the writers care about Tien. Goku could have saved him with instant transmission, or he could have kept a copy on the ring, like the original. I don't think there was a single moment where Tien looked good. I mean, in the manga version at least, he caught everyone's attention when he used his Kikoho, even if it did not a single thing against that Frieza lookalike. Tien wasn't a character I consider getting a shine anyways, but Super did its best to make him look as bad as possible. I mean, nobody is going to get upset if Boo one-shots Tien. He is far above his league. In fact, that was an impressive that he managed to even save Gohan. Meanwhile in Super, his strongest attack is used against people that should be far weaker than himself. Imagine all the people from Hell come back and Vegeta turning Super Saiyan Blue against Dodoria. Would you be able to take Vegeta seriously? You won't. Unless Vegeta was already Super Saiyan Blue fighting someone that can put a challenge to him. But then you would expect Vegeta to use some weak attack from his fingertip instead. Let's say Final Flash. Presentation is key here, and while Tien defeated Frieza's soldiers, he shouldn't need an attack as powerful as the Kikoho to knock them out. Well, this is how Dragon Ball Super ruined Tien. There are people on YouTube that do a brilliant job in conveying the alpha treatment, and I will show these videos on screen so you can watch them. They are really good, so check us them out.